Hello everyone, my name is Stanimira Deleva. I am working with the Bulgarian Biodiversity Foundation. I am going to present you a part of research I am doing for another project. This is a part of research on responsible outdoor activities, and part of this research is related to the wetlands, and especially the wetlands in Burgas region. I also used to work in the Pomoria Lake for several years, and I kind of know about the problems and my own take on the outdoor activities and what could be done so we could improve our situation here. So we are talking all day about the Burgas wetlands. I'm going to talk about them again. Burgas and Pomorie and their wetlands, they are a highly urbanized area. So the people, the citizens in Burgas, they kind of like their wetlands, and they kind of want to explore them and use them as a recreational area, but this is not always possible. What are we doing around Burgas? There are several opportunities for outdoor activities, like we could go running or biking. There are some areas for kayaking, paddleboarding, kitesurf, windsurf, and other activities. Here I'm going to present only the parts with the active activities like sports. I'm not going to pay attention to the hunting and fishing, because this is a whole other area of arguments and research. The first activity that I wanted to talk about is the biking. People in Burgas love biking. Actually, this is a very popular sport here. We have biking areas. I even watched a video yesterday that says that from the major cities in Bulgaria, Burgas is the best city for biking. We have some biking trails around the city. The problem is that people in Burgas, they do have the biking trails in some areas, but other areas are absolutely inaccessible. For example, to go around the Atanasovsku Lake, which many bikers are trying to do, it's a major adventure. So here you can see in blue the biking trails that are actually okay, and some of them are really nice. For example, the trail between Burgas and the Salt Basins, it's a very popular place for biking and for running. But then if you want to continue and go around the Atanasovsku Lake, you need to plan this in advance. You need to check Google Maps. You need to ask people, and by doing this presentation, I've been asking lots of people to give me a track or anything. How can I go around the lakes? There was no information whatsoever. And the other lakes, for example, the Vaya and Mandra, I couldn't find any information on how to do any biking there. Actually, I used to go around with bike, but going between Pomorie and Burgas several times, I just gave up biking because my bike stuck in the mud many times. So yeah, I just gave up biking because it was so hard, and I just didn't need the adventures. One initiative that I really liked, actually, that's connected me to the Bulgarian Biodiversity Foundation in the past, was the half marathon, which they organized during the Day of Saint Atanas. you could go around the lake, actually not around the lake, but there was this event which could either run or go with a bike, a half marathon, 21 kilometers. But as you can see, it was stopping in the middle of the lake, and there is no way to go around it and do this full circle. This event, I hope they will make it again, because it was a really nice way to connect with the nature and do some outdoors activity. Also, I haven't done this, but my friends are doing this. They're doing paddle boarding in the Burgas lakes. I'm not sure which lake are they using. I think Mandra or Vaya. I know it is possible to do it in the Vaya lake, but also in Mandra they're going with the paddle board. I'm not sure if it's allowed or not. Another outdoor activity, which is the kayaking, I think also it's possible to do it in Vaya Lake and not in the other lakes. People are doing it. I don't know if it's illegal or not. I couldn't find any information on that except the kayaking tour on the Vaya Lake. And there is one specific place for sports fishing. Again, this is the same place. Actually, there is one recreational area in the Burgas lakes, and there is no information in the other parts of the Burgas lakes. And then we reach a real problematic activity, which is in Pomorie. This is something that it's ongoing problem for us as conservation NGOs and everyone who cares about birds. This is the kite surfing, which is done in the Pomorie Lake. So kite surfing is very popular activity in Burgas area. There are several clubs in Burgas and in Pomorie. And it's totally okay to do this in the Black Sea. And many people are doing it, even people from other towns are coming. But there are certain people who really love to ride their kites inside the Pomorie Lake. And the Pomorie Lake is protected area, and it is forbidden. I don't think it was ever allowed to do kite surfing, but it is done very frequently. So last year, the kite surfing was a real problem because the sandwich terns that were nesting in Pomorie, they abandoned their artificial island, they abandoned their eggs, and the whole breeding season was ruined because of just one kite surfing event. Well, this of course is a problem, but there was no constructive dialogue, there was no solution for this problem, nothing. There is no understanding between kite surfing and the conservationists, and I must tell you, you might find this surprising, but some people just don't care about the birds. And they would rather not have birds in the Pomorie Lake, and actually kite surfers are not understanding at all. So the moment we try to speak with kite surfers, we get all kinds of arguments. We get many remarks, and we just gave up on talking with them. This initiative is not mine. I am not even trying to talk with kite surfers because I used to work in Pomorie Lake. While dealing with kite surfers, I got so desperate that I immigrated. Now I came back. But my colleague Mitko, he is continuing the fight for several years. I don't know how much success, but it's really hard, and I think some people are just doing kite surfing in the lake out of spite. So the things that kite surfers said either to me or just wrote it as a comment on Facebook is like, they asked me to explain to my ducks. So I was working in Pomoria, so they said, could you just explain to your ducks to move a little bit so we could surf in this area and we are not going to go to the other area? And they weren't even being sarcastic. So I did some research and I couldn't find any official information about Bulgaria. I found one literature research from 2017 about the damage that kite surfers are doing to birds, which was for all around the world. And yes, kite surfing is very damaging, but also it is something that is getting more and more popular, and we should really address this issue and maybe use the opportunities of tourism and do something about it. So it's not that we are not doing anything. There are constant signals being addressed to the local authorities, and the responsible authorities should be doing something. I couldn't find information on what exactly is done to address this problem. Maybe we can do a discussion about this later. So what I am suggesting as a researcher and as a conservationist is maybe stop the wishful communication, because it's not working. All of the surfers, they know that it is forbidden to do kite surfing in the Pomoria Lake. They just don't care. So maybe send official letters to all the surfing clubs in Bulgaria and say, like, you have been warned, and this is what should happen next. The next time we find you in the lake, we are just going to fine you on the place or something like that. Well, it is a very delicate matter, and we should not speculate maybe anymore. But let's turn to the other activities which are less problematic. For example, the outdoor activities around Burgas lakes. We should be encouraging them, because many people want to enjoy the wetlands, but the thing that they want to do most is just go around the lake. Many people are just looking at the lakes and saying, well, I don't care about the birds, I'm not going to do bird watching, so I'm just going to ignore the wetlands and just go biking. And just go biking in the city garden or something like that. We should be encouraging people to just go around, and maybe they will notice the birds, and then they will think about the birds. So this is something to discuss and think about. I don't know about the step to take a step to just allow a part of the lakes to be accessible for water sports. This is a delicate matter, because once you allow people to enter the lake, it is very hard to establish borders for activities. But the thing is that our conservation wouldn't be sustainable if people are just complaining and they don't feel that the lakes are something they could enjoy. So to finish and to start some discussion later, we should think about how people could actually use those lakes, because now we are constantly in a conflict with people, and this is not good for conservation, and it's not sustainable. we could really think about involving people, like including people in citizen science projects, or encouraging them to just go around and look at the lakes. And yeah, if we don't do that, the moment the highly motivated people, like the ones sitting in this room, the moment you are gone or you stop doing your projects, it's going to be the moment that the lakes are going to be destroyed. So I don't know if you understand what I want to say, but yeah, thank you for your attention.